everybody. Welcome back to the Bullhucker Podcast. I'm Moose Lundstrom.
And I'm Adam Vokey.
What's up, Mr. Vokey?
Not a whole lot.
Where are we at, Big Papa?
We are at the Brush Emporium.
We're at the Bullhucker Studios.
Bullhucker Studios.
In the bowels of the Emporium.
You love saying that, don't you?
I do. That's what I think. I would put that shit on a shirt, son. You know? We got an old school friend with us today.
We do. We've known him for a while.
A long time. He traveled here from Denver to come do the podcast. It's very cool of him. Jio Jiovani, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. We're here broadcasting high from the bowels of the Emporium.
Bowels of the Brush Emporium.
I thought I was getting whacked when I came down the stairs.
Everybody does.
You're walking into a basement with two very large men.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
They're like, no, just go down there. I'm like, yeah, right. You go down there.
Yeah. It's down there, yeah. Because people come to the Emporium and they're like, where do they film the podcast out? And they're like, we're not watching too much of it because you know it's in the bowels of the Emporium. So, Gio, the last time I think I saw you, it's been a long time.
It's been a while.
You were headlining, I believe, in Greeley at the Down Under last time we saw each
Down
other.
Under. I remember that.
Yeah, I can't remember why I was there. Somebody was performing. I came and you were the headliner that night. So
yeah, that was a great club.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was fun.
It was really fun.
Location, though, man. I mean, if that was a better location, it'd done.
Just the atmosphere of that club, the walking, down the stairs and all that. It was awesome.
Yeah,
and that was actually a good show that night.
It was a good show.
Because at the end, when I talked about the fight with my girlfriend, that literally happened on the way up to the show. And then I was like, I got to ask somebody, fuck this. So I just went on, and then I got off stage, and she was sitting at the bar in the back, and she's like, I can't believe you just made a joke out of our fight that we had, and she looks like 2 hours ago. I'm like, well, that's what I do.
That's what I do for a living.
It's like, be careful what you say.
Yeah. you knew you were going to be material, baby. You knew you were going to be material.
Exactly.
And he made
what you signed up for.
You know what you signed up for.
It's like Fluffy. I don't know if you saw that. I've done a bunch of shows with him. I met him when we did the benefit for the Batman shooting.
Oh, okay.
We did the benefit show, and that's where I first met him, and we became friends. But he tells me, he's like, the way he doesn't get in fights with his ex now is he says, as soon as she comes over and she's like, you know what, Gabriel? He goes, what? Go ahead. And he's like, what do you want? And she's like, oh, and she walks away. He's like, because it'll end up on stage, man. That's just the way it is with a comedian.
It will.
We can't afford therapy. That's our therapy.
You know what? Every comic's pretty broken. It's I mean, and you know what? But some of the best people on the planet, some of the greatest.
Yep.
How long have you been doing comedy?
I was thinking about that. I've been doing it professionally since 2009.
Okay,
but I've been doing it since about 2002.
Just spotty here and there.
Yeah, I was. What happened was I was doing like open mics, and I loved doing it.
Right.
And I always used to tell like Dick Black and all the old school guys, man, I love to do this for a living.
Yeah.
And I was working for a college, and the economy dropped out. I got laid off.
Yes.
And so all my friends are like, if you think you can do it, fucking do it. So I was like, you know what? I took my 401k, my savings, packed a bag, threw it in the back of my truck, and I hit the road. Any place that would give me 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever.
Yeah.
Just to polish and get the experience.
That's awesome.
So
that's awesome. Yeah, it's been a long. You were good when I saw you. So
I appreciate that.
One of these days we're gonna have to bring you back down. We're doing a small show here.
Yeah.
Every now and again. Yeah.
I would love it.
Yeah, it'd be great, man.
Absolutely.
That'd be a good time. But before we get going on any of that stuff, we're going to talk about your comedy a little more here in a little bit. But
cool.
we're going to tell some stories.
All right.
But before we do stories, gosh damn, it's going to be a long day. Before we do tell stories, I do want to say, if you're new to this podcast, welcome to the Bullhucker Podcast. What we do on this podcast is we bring on a guest. Today is Jio Jiovani. Gio's going to tell us 3 stories about his life. Now, here's the kicker. Only 2 of these stories are true. One's either borrowed, all the way made up, or it's an embellished story. We don't want to know what it is. We're just going to guess. It doesn't help our percentage at all. So
nope.
There's no need at all. We used to ask, specify what the lie is, but it doesn't help us. So, and at the end of the podcast, Adam and I are going to try and guess to see if we can find out which one's the bullshit, or as we call it, the Bullhucker.
The Bullhucker.
That's right. So, before we, let's just tell some stories.
All right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to read them off?
Read them?
Yeah.
I'll read them. We've got Allen Iverson, Old Bridge Road, and Jenny McCarthy.
Is it Old Bridge Road?
Old Bridge Ranch.
Oh, Ranch.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking of a song or something. I don't know. Old Bridge Ranch.
No, that's a whorehouse.
Well,
surprised I didn't make that one.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right, Vokey, you've been. It's been a while. Why don't you pick one out, buddy?
Let's go with Allen Iverson.
Allen Iverson.
Allen Iverson. All right. So I was working for a college and at the time, and it was a sponsor of Kroenke Sports, and Kroenke has children's sports charity. So I got on the team. I went to the bowling alley with my team, and part of it was all the Nuggets were going to be there, and you got to bowl with one of the Nuggets, know. So we're there. All the Nuggets show up. They're all wearing their baby blues, Allen Iverson walks in probably about 20, 30 minutes late. He's got 2 cops in front of him, 2 cops in back of him, wearing a white instead of the baby blue. And if you've ever been to Lucky Strike downtown, he comes in, goes immediately to the right to where the pool tables are. And he has the cops stand in a half circle so nobody can get to him and nobody can talk to him. And this went on for this went on for about an hour or so.
Right.
Meanwhile, we're bowling. I'm talking to, at the bar, I'm talking to, God, I just drew a blank.
A Nugget?
Yeah, the one that was married to
Camby, Marcus Camby.
No, he was cool though. He was a really cool guy. Yeah. He was. We asked him to take some autographs, which you weren't supposed to do. Yeah. And he was like, hold on, because he was sweating from bowling, So he had to wipe off, and then he took pictures and stuff like that. But Carmelo Anthony was sitting at the bar. And I used to have a problem with him, but I snuck in these 2 basketballs. We weren't supposed to ask for autographs. I snuck them in. Went up to the bar, and I'm like, hey, man, can you just sign these for my fiance's kids? And he was so cool. He's like, yeah, what are their names? Instead of just signing it, he actually personalized it, right? Well, then Allen Iverson comes over, and he's sitting there, and I just got this attitude from him, just the way he was. And I hear him talking, and they're supposed to stay for the whole thing. And Allen Iverson looks at him, and he's like, you know what, I'm out. And as he gets up, he starts to walk out, and he's got the cops around him, and I'm just fucking staring at him. And he looks at me, he looks away, and he looks back at me, and I go, why the fuck did you even show up? And he was like, what? I go, this is for kids. I go, you're a fucking asshole. You come in late, you don't talk to anybody. And so he started coming at me. I started going at him, and the cops had to jump in the middle and kind of push us apart and get him out. And the cops came back in, and I was like, hey, man, I want to apologize. The guy's just a dick. Yeah. And the sergeant, he goes, no need. He goes, we're his security detail. They're like, well, we've been in the same room with the guy for over 3 hours, and he hasn't said word one to us. Not even hello, not nothing, whatever.
These are actual police officers or
Denver
security?
Cops. Denver cops.
Wow,
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And they were, because when he came to Denver, it was like the big deal, Yeah. And everybody thought he was going to lead us to this championship. He just caused nothing but turmoil.
Yeah.
And right after that, when the Nuggets got rid of him, no one wanted to sign him. If you remember that, he had to go to Europe for a year, for a season, and play for $1 million because no one wanted to deal with this bullshit.
Yeah.
So that was my Allen Iverson story. So I apologized to the cops, and they're like, we go with him because he was doing the Conoco openings and all that when they do the grand openings. Yeah. They're like, yeah, we sat there for 2-3 hours. Yeah, not word one. He was kind of a dick.
Yeah,
the jerk.
He's an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, he's prima donna, I'm sure. I mean, I remember when he came out of Georgetown. Was it Georgetown? Yeah, Georgetown. Yeah. I remember he straight up said, "I'm not a good person. I just put a lot of balls in the basket." That's
and that's true.
He's never claimed to be a decent human being. No. And it's nice to know at least he follows through.
Yeah, right? Yeah, he's a man of his word. There we go. We can say something positive about him there.
I'm a Bulls fan, man, so it's tough for me. Go Nuggets, though. I always cheer for them. You know what I mean? 'Cause that's cool that they're kicking so much ass now. But the thing that I love the most, because I couldn't stand Carmelo Anthony. I thought he was lazy. He didn't play defense. Hell of an offensive player, but the guy didn't play defense, Yeah. But I think it's cute that he's number 15, and so is Mr. Josic now. And then he's so worried about who's going to retire that number. Well, who do you think, dude?
Exactly. Who won the championship? And who was instrumental working his ass off on both ends of the court to get that championship.
And he's been the MVP twice?
Twice. 2 times,
And here's my favorite thing about that dude. They win the NBA championship. And they're like, they ask him about the parade, and he's like, go home. I don't, what parade?
Yeah.
They go,
he didn't want to go. He's like, what do you mean? I want to go home tomorrow. And they're like, no, there's a parade.
He wanted to go home and race his little cart behind a horse.
He didn't give a shit about it. I like this dude, man,
And what was so cool is when they showed all the Nuggets and stuff there, he wasn't even in the camera. He was in the back with his little girl and his wife.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't hogging the spotlight
Right.
like a lot of those guys. And he was the reason they were there.
Yeah.
Right. He don't do it for the fame. He does it because he loves to play the game.
Yep.
And so
That's what you got to love.
yeah.
And the fact that he looks clumsy as shit when he
Doesn't
plays.
he?
Oh my
Doesn't he?
god, dude! He looks like he's so coordinated, but it works, man. It's
You're waiting for him to trip on the court. And,
yeah. You've seen like the Jordans of the world and the Kobe's, so graceful, just so
just smooth like
Yeah.
they're floating.
And that guy, give me a ball, I put it in basket right now.
exactly.
I elbow this man in face and
And then I'll trip over the free throw line.
yeah. That's cool. I think that's cool that Denver's doing well.
I do too. And aren't they number one again?
I-
Number
I-
one
They,
seed?
they
One or
were.
two?
I don't know if
No, I believe number
did
one
they
is
slip back down.
yeah. Who is number one? It's I was shocked to see it actually. It's close.
Yeah, they're up there.
Yeah, because the Spurs are last place. And that shocked me. 'Cause
Right.
they always seem to be good. Who is number one? I can't remember. I just saw
saw
the
Denver
standings.
was number one like 2 or 3, 4 days ago, something like that.
They're going to go back to back though.
I
I
hope.
mean, when it comes down to the money, they're hard to beat.
See, and also that's why I like that team is because when you have other teams that have superstars like the Bulls, I'm a huge Bulls fan too, but you had Michael Jordan, you had Scottie Pippen, you had superstars. Now the Joker is a superstar, but he's not acting like one, and it's still a team.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's
Yeah.
putting in the effort. It's not one guy getting all the glory.
Right. Aaron Gordon's fun to watch. I thought it was cool when they won the NBA championship. You see him walking downtown Denver with a beer with no
Yeah,
shirt
did
on.
you see that? In the midst of this huge crowd and no security, he's just like, "What's up?" You know, I don't think a lot of people knew who he was at first.
Yeah.
Because you see some people look at and they're like double. Yeah, is that
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, go get me a beer, you son of a bitch.
And
I
I
won a
w-
championship.
And I will say something for Denver. That there was nothing that happened as far as riot wise.
Yeah.
The fans were. There was that one shooting, but it was completely unrelated.
Right.
You know, it was like some drug deal went bad, but there was no windows getting smashed out. There was no fires. There was no brawls.
car
Yeah, cars getting flipped
vandalism.
over. They partied and then they went home.
You know, but I will take a little credit for that because we've had some championships in Denver already, so it's nothing new to them. Between the Broncos and Avalanche, there's 5 or 6, you know. So
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Avs bought the first one.
yes, they did.
I'm a big
Yes,
hockey
they
guy.
did. By a year, I believe, or 2 years.
2 years.
96, 95.
96 and then 2001.
Yeah.
Their first year here.
Yeah.
From Nordique when they were the Nordiques.
Yeah, that was very cool. I want to like hockey in the worst way. I don't understand it well enough, but I want to like it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but we used to go to the Eagles. You ever go check out the Colorado Eagles?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were fun.
Because those are guys that sack groceries during the day. You know, there's normal guys, so they kick the shit out of each other at those
Yep.
games. You know?
The last one I went to is a few years ago, but it was like both benches cleared, and I mean everybody was fighting. Even the goalies squared up.
That's awesome.
So like the officials would break up these two guys, and they'd be skating opposite directions and see somebody from the other team. They'd get in a fight with 2 other different people, and it was hilarious. There were
it's fun.
sticks and gloves and helmets all over the ice.
That's awesome.
It was fun.
Fun to watch. What did you think about that one, Vogue?
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that Alan just don't act or seem to be an asshole. He actually
Yeah,
is.
that's like he follows through. That's cool, you know.
But is he or isn't he?
Yeah.
Here we
Yeah. Yeah. I hate you already. I'm already starting to hate you.
That's okay. I got a long list of people that hate me. That's all right.
I liked it. And like I said, that doesn't surprise me at all. If that's a true story, I'm zero surprised. You know that he's got that attitude, and the other guys are pretty new to it. Though I mean, Iverson came to the 76ers. He was, you know, the big man on campus. He was, you know, he was
Right.
the man. So I'm sure having your ass kissed a lot. You know, what do you do? So
And come on, Philly.
Yeah.
Philly's more of a gangster type city
Oh,
than Denver
fuck.
by
I mean,
far.
yeah.
Oh, fuck.
By far. I lived there for a while.
did you?
Philly fans threw batteries at Santa Claus. I mean, come on.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right. They,
And it's the city of brotherly love. Get the fuck outta
Yeah,
here.
that's what gets me.
They have the worst fan base. Like the Eagles have the worst fans. It's been voted on over and over. They're the worst people, man.
Yeah.
There's, like, don't take a jersey that's not green into that stadium
Right.
because they will fuck you up. You know what I mean? So
See, and my favorite team, just because my grandma had a crush on the quarterback growing up, so he became my favorite team. I'm a Raiders fan.
God damn you.
I know, right? But see, but I have a reason. My grandma loved Plunkett. She was in love with Jim Plunkett.
All right.
So as a little kid, my grandpa would say, "Hey, your boyfriend's on TV," so we would root for the Raiders because Grandma liked the Raiders, and it just stuck. The Raiders and the Giants because I'm originally from the Bronx. Those are my two
Giants,
teams.
I'm a Cowboys fan, so
Well, see, the Giants are probably my second team. I'm a huge Bronco fan, but the Giants are my second team because I was such a fan of Lawrence Taylor growing up.
LT.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Don't smoke crack.
That dude was high as shit on the field, man.
Yes,
he broke Joe Theismann's leg on cocaine.
Yes, he did. But he was fun to watch, man.
Oh,
He was. Him and Barry Sanders are the two non-Broncos I used to just love to watch. It was so amazing. So,
in Dallas, whenever there's a tornado, they tell you to go there.
Yeah.
There's never a touchdown.
Yeah, there's no chance of a touchdown there, man. Hey, I had to put up with it too for 20 years for the Raiders.
My sister sent me this picture one day. It said my vacuum broke, and then I put this on it, and now it sucks again, and it was the Cowboys logo. I get all that shit from her. She's a huge Bronco fan and lives in Texas. So,
wow.
So I get it.
People love to hate the Cowboys. They just love to hate them.
They do.
Man. Yeah, I'm indifferent to the Cowboys. I mean,
I don't give a shit.
There's a kid at work, Luis, who's a massive Cowboy fan, and I just give him so much shit. I'm like, yeah, you guys are doing awesome till the playoffs show up, and then pack up, bro. And then they, dude, that poor kid. When they lost in the first round to who they played this, who kicked their ass in the first round this year?
I can't even remember.
It was a no-name team, not a no-name team, but anyway. I said someone to call that kid, make sure he's not on a fucking high roof with a SWAT team trying to talk him down. You know what I mean? So all right, that was Allen Iverson. I did like it. So like I said, pretty believable story. So we're going to do the second story. Before we do that, we have a sponsor now on the Bullhucker podcast, Full Tilt Trailer Rentals. So they got a small video we're going to play right here. So check it out.
Hi, my name is Carolyn. My husband and I are the proud owners of Full Tilt Trailer Rentals, a small town rental service. We are here to serve Morgan County and surrounding areas with a full line of trailers to meet your needs. We offer car haulers, utility trailers, and dump trailers for a variety of tasks you may need to tackle. Our competitive pricing and rewards program is here to serve you best. You can contact us or watch all of our activity and promos on our Facebook page. But if social media isn't your thing, we are also available via phone call or text message at 970-467-2393 or 970-380-4720. We're like U-Haul, but better.
All right, so that was Full Tilt Trailer Rentals. Please make sure you check it out. It's a young couple starting a business here in northeastern Colorado. They've done a great job so far. I've had a few buddies that have used their service, and so please make sure you show them some love. And when you go down there, tell them the Bullhucker sent you. What will it get you? Not a goddamn thing.
Nothing at all.
Please tell us the Bullhucker sent you so we keep our sponsorship. So.
Exactly.
At least they know the ads work.
Yeah, that's right.
They know you guys are earning your money.
That's right. They'll let us do some more whoring. So that's all we want. We're horrible people. Jio Giovani, I don't know what to tell you.
That's all right.
Yeah. So, all right. That was Allen Iverson. Let's check out Old Bridge Ranch and Jenny McCarthy. There's always one that sticks out that I want to hear the most, Gio. So we're going to do it last. Instead, let's hear Old Bridge Ranch.
Okay. So I had an Old Bridge Ranch. I don't know if you guys know the story about the Mustang Ranch.
Yeah.
The guy that ran the Mustang Ranch, he got busted for tax evasion. So the federal government took over the ranch and was running the whorehouse.
That is amazing.
Right? So people were all upset that the government's involved in prostitution, so they just shut it down. Well, this guy gets out of jail. Right next door opens up Mustang 2, goes right back into business, right? Well, right down the road over this old bridge, a friend of mine worked as a manager. It was called Old Bridge Ranch. And have you guys ever been to a bunny ranch?
I have not, no.
It is a trip. You walk up and it's like a prison. It's got this tall, chain link fence around it with barbed wire so their boyfriends can't get, sneak in for freebies or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's cameras. They got to buzz you in through that. Then you walk up to the actual front door. They buzz you in there. And you walk in and there's this huge living room with overstuffed couches and there's a bar. And all the girls are walking around in lingerie and shit like that.
Yeah.
And you basically pick which one or two that you want. And they have their own room.
Yeah.
They take you back to the room. Well, my buddy got stupid. And David was the guy that was running the Old Bridge Ranch. And he started fucking David's girlfriend.
Whoa.
Yeah. And David like there's stories out there. It was very mafia backed.
Yeah.
You know, I remember sitting in David's office one time and the safe is open in the wall. He had, besides drugs and guns, he had at least $500,000 in cash just stacked up and sitting there. I
Wow.
mean, he wasn't afraid of any of that.
Yeah.
So my friend used to have to take his Jeep and do runs to California to pick up kilos for David because he was in the drug business.
Right.
Well, my dumb friend decides to bring this stupid bitch along for the ride. So we're in the middle of the desert, and we stop at this little gas station for water to use the bathroom, you know. And me and Kent come out, and his Jeep's gone. And we're like,
shit.
what the fuck? Like, his Jeep is gone.
After you made the pickup.
No, before. Thank
Okay.
God.
Okay.
Thank God.
Oh.
But still, we're like in the middle of the desert, and he used to carry a gun with him, and he had his gun. And the gas station attendant's like, yeah, that blonde just left with your Jeep. And he's like, oh, what the fuck? And we're both, this is when I used to drink and do drugs and stuff. We're both just fucked up. So we don't know what to do. And a Nevada state trooper comes rolling in because it was up by Reno. And we didn't want to talk to him, but the owner of the place said, hey, this Jeep just got stolen. So he comes, talks to us. We get in his car. Kent's sitting in the front seat. Swear to God, pulls his gun out and lays it on the front seat. This is back 90s, so this is a way different time.
Right.
The cop is like, is that the only weapon you have on you? He's like, yeah. He goes, okay. He goes, just leave it there on the seat. We start going to the next town. Sure enough, as soon as we pull in the town, there's Kent's Jeep. And the girl's like in the bar. So we end up getting the Jeep back. He goes in and just has it out with her. Ends up leaving her in the middle of the desert, basically. We go and make the pickup in, I think it was Palm Springs, we made the pickup. So we made the pickup, and we come back. We get all the way back to Reno, to Old Bridge Ranch. David finds out that this girl was with us. He doesn't know what happened, but he's wanting to know where she's at. And we're trying to explain to this guy who is not a friendly guy at all, like, what happened.
Right.
Long story short, we had to go back and get her and bring her back. Then she ratted out my friend Kent that because Kent was fucking her, and she found out that he was also fucking David's girlfriend, right? And I'm like, he could never keep his dick in his pants. I'm like, dude, there's a time and a place, and like, you don't fuck with certain people's girls. You know, he didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
So basically, David sent this guy Carlton that used to wear this long black trench coat, and he would carry guns too. Very scary dude. He would send him over to Casey's house. Casey wasn't there. Casey was married. Kent, his wife is there. He tells his wife, you better tell Kent and his friend to get the fuck out of town, or they're going to end up in the desert, like in a hole.
Right.
Which this guy has done before. He got busted for it. And so she panics. She calls. She gets a hold of me. By that time, I was on my way back to Denver. And she tells me the story. So I have to go to his apartment. She already had a U-Haul. We pack up all his shit, and I drove him back to Denver so that he wouldn't get killed by the mob for fucking these girls and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
You're a good friend, Gio. You're a good friend.
Yeah. I was, like I said, I was drunk and high. I was,
Yeah.
all I saw was titties and pussy. I was, why are we leaving? Why? I don't get it. Right?
Yeah. The good time is here, my friend.
Yeah.
The good time's here. I've seen it.
Exactly.
It smiled at me. It made me an offer. Yeah.
Yeah. The Pinocho winked at me.
Pinocchio winked at me.
That was a great movie.
In Pueblo's notorious for old mafia. I don't know if it's still there. It's here nor there. But that's a very famous saying here in Pueblo all the time was, hey, there's a lot of holes in the desert, my friend.
Yeah.
You know? And you hear that a lot in Pueblo, and I never really was like, what's that? Fun fact? What's that mean? You know?
Really?
You know? Yeah.
Is that where they test shovels? Like,
Yeah. I was like, I don't know what that means. And so my buddy's like, that means they'll leave you in the desert and they'll bury you, kill you. Oh.
And there's actually, there's a book, I can't remember what it's called, but David was friends, and I'm trying to think of this guy's name. I'll probably remember it at the end. But he was the congressman from Nevada. That's how high up he had control. So anything he wanted in the state, David was able to get because he had dirty people. And this politician ended up going to prison for it, and he wrote a book. And it was a book about all the holes in the desert and the people he put in there and stuff like that. It was crazy.
If you know what he's talking about, put it down in the comments below. I'd love to check that out. So,
Yeah.
yeah, no, absolutely. That's
It
crazy.
was crazy, man. It was insane. And if you talk to people that are from Reno, they'll tell you that's a total Reno story. And they're like, that's 100% believable that happened.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like people think Reno's just like Vegas because of gambling. It is like Reno is the old school Vegas. What Vegas was in the 60s and 70s, Reno's still that way.
Really?
It's a shithole, but it's still very mob controlled.
It's by a lake. It's by, right? Or no?
By Lake Tahoe?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right on the border.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. No, I've never been to Reno, man.
I've been once.
Really?
Yeah, we were working down there, so I went down for a site visit.
Oh, okay.
And it was, I don't know, like you said, like kind of a shithole. I kind of got that dirty, dingy, not real friendly vibe.
Yeah.
And I was only there for one night, so
it's old school.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like Fremont Street used to be.
Yes.
They don't like the tourists coming around, but it's their bread and butter.
Well,
So they tolerate.
when we were for Budweiser, there was a new GM from Vegas. We'll call him Frank. We'll call him Fred. It was Fred. He was the Miller Lite guy. He was the head of Miller Lite in Vegas. Fred always told us stories and shit. He always said empty promises and shit. Dennis was the maintenance man and the most accident-prone son of a bitch on the planet. Well, he was going to Vegas, and so Fred's like, I'm going to hook you up. Binions. I know the guys from Binions, right? So I hooked him up with the maintenance guy from Binions to kind of give him a back scene tour of and how it all works. And, and Dennis was into it. He said it was cool. But this guy from Binions had been there a long, long time when, like, old man Binion was still alive, right?
Yeah.
He was telling this Dennis a story about some guy that was in there losing his money one day, and he's starting to kill old man Binion just at the table, drunk, talking shit. They kidnapped this dude. Here's what they do to him. This is the shittiest thing I've ever heard. They hold him hostage basically for a week. And what do they do for a week? They shoot him up with heroin.
Oh, fuck.
They shoot him up with heroin for a straight week till he's nice and addicted, and then they just let him go.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
They make him a junkie and then just release him. Have a good day. What is shittier than that, bro?
That's fucked up.
You don't got to kill him. You just took his life.
Yeah, you
know?
did.
Yeah.
Now he's living hell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if that story is true. That's what the guy told Dennis.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. But I'm sure back then it was, the mob is the one who
They started
Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, yeah. What do you think about that story, Vogue?
That was insane.
You know what my favorite part is? People don't want the government running a whorehouse. You know what I
that
mean?
great?
Because they're already fucking us every day anyway.
Right.
So what's the difference?
Well, I
At
heard
least
a rumor.
it's legal.
Yeah. I heard a rumor that Uncle Sam was bisexual because he'll fuck anybody. So I think that's got to be true.
At least they have the whorehouse. You get the fucking you want, not the fucking you get, right? That's
Just think about it. Like, nobody in the government said, hey, this is a bad idea. We're running a whorehouse. They just grabbed it and started running a whorehouse.
oh my god!
Like,
If we're in
nobody-
control, no one will know we go there.
Exactly.
You know how bad they probably messed it up with all their bureaucracy.
Oh, my
I mean, it's probably horrible. Like the hookers are probably, you know what? I'm sick of filling out paperwork.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, do I really need to count the positions? Do I need to do all this?
And by the way, before we get off the mob, if you go to Vegas, there's a place called Capo's. Go in there and ask for 9-Digit Dave. He is awesome. He'll take care of you. Tell him Gio sent you. 9-Digit Dave at Capo's. It's on Sahara right off the strip. Awesome.
I
It's a
remember
speakeasy place. Yeah, it's
I'm gonna
awesome.
assume he doesn't have one of his fingers.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And he won't tell me the story behind it. It's just,
He will or he will
he
not.
will not. It's just 9-Digit Dave. That's what everybody knows him as.
9-digit day. Well,
Yeah,
you know
right.
what? It just rolls off the tongue. So why not? Right?
Yeah.
That's funny. I like that story.
hilarious.
But I just like the fact the government will they don't give a shit.
Right?
They'll, if they could take over a church, they would.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Remake God. We rewrote the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah, amending certain parts of it. All right. So far, so good. You've not disappointed, Gio, as I didn't think you would. So it's always fun to have comics come on the podcast.
I appreciate it.
When's the last one we had a comic? Matt Vaca? You know Matt, right?
Oh, I love Matt. Me and Matt's done road work together.
Yeah, he came on. He
Was
was.
it Matt or was there?
There's probably a few. We got one coming
Who
tomorrow
was it
too.
that did the comedy show here at the?
Oh yeah, Todd Johnson.
Yeah, Todd.
Todd and Travis Tate. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But me and Matt were doing stuff up in Wyoming, and it was snowing like crazy. We almost went off the road a couple times. And this is a total Matt Baca, if you know him. We stop at a gas station. I come out, and there's the Green Lantern Pez dispenser glued to the dashboard. He goes, "That's the patron saint of comedians." I was like, "All right, dude." So he's like, "He'll protect us." I'm like,
Yeah.
"All right, cool," you know.
Yeah, Matt's one of my favorite guys, dude. He's
He's fun.
fantastic. Yeah, he came down. He does speaking now. He does like what's the word?
Like motivational.
Yeah,
Motivational speaking.
motivational.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the community college called and asked, they wanted something that was kind of funny, and I said, well.
Oh, Matt's awesome.
Yeah,
And he's clean for the most part?
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
most part, they're like, we need someone that's clean, and I don't know many of those people, but I'll see. I'll
what we
call
can do.
Terry Barton Gregg and see what she can work out. But that's she sent us Matt. And
If you talk to him, ask him about Iceberg in Wyoming.
okay,
Yeah, that's a great story. If we have time at the end, I'll tell you.
all right, we might have to make time. So, all right, we have 2 down, 1 to go. We have Alvin Iverson down, Old Bridge Ranch. Last one is the one I want to hear the most, Jenny McCarthy.
Jenny McCarthy.
I'm a fan.
Oh, yeah, me too.
What happened was I was friends with like Willie B and all those guys when KBPI used to be downtown
Yeah, nice.
before they went out to the tech center. And so I would get free passes to the events and stuff like that. Well, you guys remember when MTV did the Ultimate Winter Getaways?
No, but
They did them like for spring
It
break.
sounds familiar.
Yeah, they used to do like the Ultimate Spring Break and the Ultimate Winter Getaway, and they did one in Aspen. And so I got tickets. You know, they got a bus ride up there and stuff, and I was with my friend Jeff. He won't mind if I use his name.
what's
Well,
up, Jeff?
Yep, Jeff Anderson, quick quality. So we're riding up there. Budweiser, I don't know if you guys remember this. They tried to do like a series of like black and tan and different kinds of like before microbrews took off.
Yes.
Well, they were giving away samples,
Right.
you know. So me and Jeff were like, dude, come on, hook us up. And he's like, I can't. You guys are going to be skiing. I was like, dude, we ain't going skiing. Fuck that. We're
Yeah.
going up to Aspen to fucking party and hang out with the like Jenny McCarthy and people like that.
Yeah.
So he's feeding us free beer all the way up there. You know, this is when it was a 4-hour bus ride.
Right.
So we're hammered when we get there already. And Jenny McCarthy, she meets us, you know, and she says hi to everybody and does all this. Goo Goo Dolls were playing. That was the musical guest. That'll show you.
Still cool, man.
Yeah, I did.
dude.
I liked them. You
Yeah.
know, they weren't like my type of music, but they're not bad.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I like them.
But so she was kind of a bitch, you know. She was kind of standoffish and shit. So right away,
Sure.
I was like, "Yeah, fuck off." You know, I don't. You know, you're a hot girl, but there's also a whole street of hot girls that just aren't famous. You
Right,
know what I
yeah.
mean? So we go about our drinking, and after I get thrown out of the Hard Rock, we go over to what's the other one? Hard Rock Cafe, Planet Hollywood,
Okay.
when it still was there. I end up passing out on the bar upstairs. So we get tossed out of there. So Jeff's trying to sober me up. So I'm in this mood to where I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Right? Well, we sit at this table. Jenny McCarthy sitting immediately to my left. Jeff is to my right. Some of the guys from the band Presidents of the United States,
Yeah.
they were sitting across the table from me.
It's lump. It's
Yeah,
lump.
it's
in
lump.
my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peaches.
Peaches,
yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're old.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so you're like, you know.
I have that CD.
It's a
Yeah.
weird way to get us to admit it, but yeah, we're old.
I think that was their only 2 hit songs. I
Yeah,
think.
it was. That's it.
There was,
That was
there was
it.
that one about "fuck you, kitty," about the kitty scratching.
That
It
was
was on the
Oh,
CD.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I remember that. Excuse me. So anyway, we're all at this table. Planters Peanuts starts walking around because they were trying to do like the habanero flavored peanuts. That was when it was all starting out.
Oh yeah.
So they're handing out those big tubes of peanuts to everybody. And I'm drunk off my ass. So we're all laughing and stuff. Jenny's being kind of cool. And so I look at Jeff and I'm like, Jeff, watch this. And he looked at me and he was like, oh, God. Like, what are you
Yeah.
going to fucking do? Because he knows me too well.
Yeah.
And it was empty. So I was like, hey, Jenny, want to touch my nutsack? And she fucking went ballistic. I mean, ballistic. Like, she started, you fucking man. And this big Samoan motherfucker, her bodyguard, grabs me by the coat, pulls me out of the chair. And I'm so drunk. He's like twice your size. And I look at him, I go, you touch me again, we're going to have a fucking problem, you know? And Jeff's like, dude. So Jeff gets up, Jenny's screaming and yelling. The guys from Presidents of the United States don't know what the fuck to think about this, And I just keep going like, I just wanted her to touch my nutsack, And I just kept, and everybody's like, shut up. And I kept saying that. And they kind of ushered me away, and we ended up getting thrown out and had to wait for everybody to leave for outside in Aspen in the wintertime.
I bet you're the third dude that day to say, "Hey, Jenny, you want to touch my nutsack?" Although, what peanut was it? Planters?
Planners, yeah.
But that should be their fucking or their
Do
saying.
you want to touch my nutsack?
Yeah,
right?
Their motto.
Yeah, you'll love our nutsack.
And, yeah, absolutely.
God, you know what? Trademarked Jio Jiovani.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Planters, peanuts, and the salty sacks. Get a salty sack of
Our
peanuts.
salty nutsack.
Salty nutsack. There you go.
That's fantastic.
That would be. That's a. You know what? Because we all know the CEO of Planners is probably watching this. We're,
of course.
We're huge in that
we're worldwide.
Yeah. So, he's
Joe
like,
Rogan doesn't have shit on us.
that's right. You know what? All joking aside, in like 7 months, we're going to see that on TV. I'll be like, someone get Jio. We've been robbed. We've been robbed. Sons of bitches. I like to put Planners peanuts nutsack in my mouth. And people, oh my God!
Where's your nutsack?
Gargle my nutsack.
Have you ever seen that Kmart commercial like way back in the day about shipping pants?
Yeah, I shipped my pants.
Hey, I can ship my pants. I ship my bed. That's a fantastic.
I shipped a shirt.
That's what you need, bro, because you remember those commercials.
Absolutely. But today's society, that's what's tough about being a comedian today.
Oh, yeah.
You either have to toe the line and like tone it back, or
Right.
you have to just not give a fuck and go full balls.
But man, it's a slippery slope because
Very much
some
so.
people get away with it, some people don't.
Right.
And it's like luck of the draw, right?
It's the audience in the city that you play.
Yeah.
I do like Jew jokes,
Okay.
right? But I hit everybody. I hit myself. I hit Jews, Mexicans, blacks, Asians. I hit everybody.
Yeah.
Because that's the way it should be. That's the way it used to be.
You're
old
an
school.
equal opportunity offender.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I talk about how I'm on dating websites, and I was so desperate. Sorry about that. I was so desperate. I went to JDate, right? And I told people, it's like, this is for Jewish, people looking to date. And I was like, I've dated Jewish girls before. Okay. It just didn't work out because the mom was too controlling. But I thought, if at first you don't succeed, try again, right? That's the motto. And if anyone should have taken that to heart, it's the Germans. Yeah. Right? But then I thought to myself, even if I find a nice Jewish girl, how am I going to get a hold of her? Because I don't think they have numbers anymore.
It's horrible. It's horrible. For shame, Gio.
And then the first thing I say when they're like, you can't tell Jew jokes, I'm like, Auschwitz.
So Two for the Road has booked comedy shows for a decade.
Right.
COVID stopped us from doing our 10 years. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
And over the path of those 10 years, Gio, there's been some comics on stage, and I've had to look at Adam like, did he just say that out loud? Did he say the quiet part out loud?
Wow.
And it's funny because some jokes, people do this. The audience does this. They look around.
Oh, yeah.
Look to the right, look to the left, and then they start laughing. Like, does anybody fit that skin pigmentation? Or no? Okay, well then let's laugh.
I do that with a rant about political correctness and black vampires. And once I tell that joke, I love it because all the white people look around to see if there's a black woman in the crowd, and they're usually laughing their ass off. Then they start laughing. I love that.
Yeah.
I think Patrice O'Neill said it best. He said, you are a true comedian when half your audience is in hysterics laughing and the other half is in complete shock at what you just said.
Yeah.
He said, that's a true comedian.
Right.
And I agree with that 100%.
Right.
Dave Chappelle once said, he's like, everybody hears my jokes like about trans people and this and that, and they interpret it that I don't like women, I don't like trans people. And he's like, and this I agree with, he said, stand-up comedy is an art form. We produce art, and it's up to you to interpret it the way you want to interpret it. It doesn't mean I meant it that way. It's the way you interpret it. So it's like everybody's entitled to their opinion, but it's like you're not entitled to get physical with someone over your opinion.
Yeah, we'll get more into the comedy here in a bit, but I do have some feelings on that. So, What would you think about that, Vogue?
That was pretty good.
Salty nuts. I swear to
Salty
God,
nut-
if that's what
that's
Rob
my
said.
nut sack.
We're going to feel like idiots. We could have been in a much nicer studio a year from now.
Right? We're going to be on like you guys are going to be on like Pandora.
That's right. Yeah.
Spotify.
Hey,
Actual
everybody.
studio.
Welcome back to the Bullhucker Podcast at Salty Nutsack Studio. Salty Nutsacks, put them in your mouth today. You know,
Exactly.
Or
No
my-
longer bowels in the basement. We're now
We're
salty
going from
nutsacks.
bowels to nut sacks.
We
Buddy.
have risen to nutsack status.
Buddy, we don't want bowels and nutsacks in the same
No.
same conversation ever. So
They're too close on the body as it is.
that's right. We're gonna send mixed signals. That's all I'm gonna say. We don't need that. So, all right, Gio. Before we guess, we always rock paper scissors to see which one of us has to guess first.
Okay.
How do you rock paper scissors, Gio?
Just like that? Like
Yeah.
1, 2, like either scissors,
All right, three pumper,
So
baby.
three.
paper, or rock.
Yeah. So, I'm with you. We do it the right way.
Okay.
This guy does a
Whatever.
4-pumper, then you go rock paper scissors shoot.
Oh, no.
Yeah. All right.
What I love is when you ask that question, everybody looks at you,
Yeah.
and then they do it so they can figure out how.
They look at me and they do this. Does this some bitch really not know how to rock paper scissors? Is he? You don't. I mean,
Or we could do ink-a-dink, bottle of ink. The cork fell out and you stink.
yeah.
No, just stick with tradition.
We had a guy from the Philippines on. He was great. He's a local teacher, and there they don't have rock paper scissors. It's the same thing, but it's called bota bink or some shit.
Ping. Bota ping?
Something.
Something. I
But
don't
I'm
know.
like, I don't understand. Well, there's two botas and one ping. How do you know
Yeah.
which boat are we going with? You know, and it just feels like it's really easy to bullshit somebody with bota ping. So, all right, are you ready? Doing three.
Yep. That almost looked choreographed.
Yeah. I was like, did you guys plan this?
Yeah. Someone's at home listening to this being like, are they touching each other right now? Because all I hear is it got weird in the bowels of the
They
emporium.
were just talking about nut
The
sacks.
salty nutsack.
Yeah, I'm hearing.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like that comedian, and I shouldn't even say the jokes. I can't credit the right person. But he had that joke about how gay porn sounds like tennis. Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh! I wish I could get credit with whoever had that joke, but it was fantastic. All right. We got three great stories. Allen Iverson, Old Bridge Ranch, and Jenny McCarthy. You've done a really great job, but I do have one in mind.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to say Jenny McCarthy. Well, maybe I don't have one in mind. I think Old Bridge Ranch is a true story. Don't say anything. I think Old Bridge Ranch is a true story. Had a lot of detail to it. It seemed like it's an outrageous story. It's out there, but I think it's a true story. That's the kind of story I like on the Bullhucker podcast. Those crazy stories of your life that you want to share with people. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's why this podcast exists. Allen Iverson, I was leaning towards. I don't know. I'm going to say Allen Iverson's a true story. And man, I'm going to bite me. I'm almost leaning towards that one. I want to pick Jenny McCarthy. I don't really have a great reason why. It just seems out of the three the most likely to adds to embellish at the end or embellish part of it. So you've done a great job, man. So I'm going to go Jenny McCarthy. What do you got?
Okay, I'm with you. I'm thinking, at first I was thinking Old Bridge Ranch was the Bullhucker, but like you said, I mean, it's outrageous. There's a lot of detail. So I'm going to say that one's true. I'm going to say Jenny McCarthy's true also.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with Allen Iverson. Just because, like, the whole, like, when you, like, lipped off to him and you guys almost get in a fight, I don't know, I kind of feel like that's easy to throw in there and kind of make up and add to the story. So that's why I'm going to do that.
Yeah. Plus you're what, 6'2"?
6'3".
6'3"? So Allen Iverson's going to have to climb up somebody's back to take a swing.
He's like, what,
You know what I mean?
5'10"?
Yeah, if that. So, all right. So you're taking Allen Iverson.
I'm going with AI.
I'm telling Jay McCarthy. Before you flip that over, I do want to say thank you to the Brush Emporium. These guys have been great. They've given us a space down here to have a podcast studio to do our podcast the way we want to do it. They've been so generous, so supportive of this. So thank you so much. Did you have a chance to really look around upstairs?
No.
Okay, this is kind of a small town thing, but everything up there is from local vendors, people who make their wares, that do their arts and crafts. So if you want an original gift, don't go to Amazon. Come down here to the Brush Emporium, check out what they got. They also got great food here, man. The pizza, the pasta, the chicken wings. It's a frat house upstairs. So,
the boots and the belts up there, those are amazing.
Yes,
I did kind of look at those as I walked by. They're
there's all
incredible.
kinds of stuff. Pasta and hot sauce and shirts and
the boots, Guzman boots. Yeah, they're imported from Mexico. I can't remember which part of Mexico, but they're awesome boots. They got some pretty cool boots up there. They're eye catching for sure. So
absolutely, and
it's a local couple that do it. So just like that, local people support local business, because when you don't support local business, it goes away.
Right.
So please support them because they do support us. Right. What else, Bo?
And then if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and click that subscribe button. It's a small click for you, but a huge click for us.
That's right. And no matter where you're listening to us, whatever platform, leave a rating and review. If you liked what you heard out of old Jio Jiovani Day, which you should have because it's been pretty fun, leave a rating and review. You know what I mean? Or right now, go to the comments section and pick which of these Allen Iverson, Old Bridge Ranch, or Jenny McCarthy you thought was the Bullhucker before we do the reveal.
All right.
See at home what they think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Having said all that good stuff, Gio, let's see what you got, brother.
Do I win a prize if I stump one of you?
Well, Old Bridge, get the fuck out of here. We should have known when the government successfully...
that was true.
They successfully did something.
What is not true about that story?
It didn't happen to me.
Oh, it's a borrowed story.
It's a borrowed story. It happened to my friend. I just inserted myself with him.
Oh, wow.
Along the story.
But it is a true story then.
It is
somebody else's true story.
Somebody else's. And it's not all of it's true.
So those are tough. I think the borrowed ones are the toughest ones because, like I said, it is a true story.
Right.
Just not your true story.
Right.
Allen Iverson's a true story.
Yep. 100%. And I really did almost go to blows with him. I really did.
Well, you should know when you were hitting him in the face saying, this is just practice.
Exactly.
We're talking about practice.
But, I get passionate about children's charities, especially when you're somebody like that.
Right.
When you're that big of a star and you're in your city, to treat the whole thing like that, it's kind of bullshit because each one of the teams was paying $10,000 to bowl with the Nuggets.
Right.
And he's one of them. He was one of the big stars. It's like, why do you do that?
And you don't know how big you are to those kids.
Right, exactly.
I've gotten to this age where I'm not impressed by a lot of people. There's like one or two people on the planet that I would be flabbergasted to meet, like speechless. You know what I mean? Yeah. And most of them are dead. You know what I mean? Like Dangerfield, I'd have a hard time with that because that's my guy. I'm a huge Dangerfield fan. But there's not many. The older you get, it's just not a big deal.
Don Rickles would have been one for me.
They'd be amazing.
It would have been
like, wow.
Awesome.
It would have been amazing to meet him. But there's very few of those people anymore, right? Yeah. I mean, they're just other adults. It's sad to say. But when there's kids, those kids look up to you. They, that's a huge deal for you to show up. So shame on you, Allen Iverson.
And I think for me, living today, if I could meet anybody, it would definitely be. Now I'm having blank skid. The Matrix.
Oh, Keanu Reeves. Oh, he's amazing.
Everything I hear about him, he is the most down to earth, just nicest guy in the world.
Right.
Yeah. He gives us. They show him on the subway just riding like anybody else because he splits from New York and L.A.
Yeah.
And I read this story in Rolling Stone. They went to do an interview with him, and they couldn't find him. He wasn't in the restaurant, and so they went out around looking for him. He had lost track of time, and he was sitting on a parking block next to a homeless person, just talking to him. He wanted to know what his story was, what happened in his life, and I'm like, that is an amazing human being.
Dude, you can go all day of stories about that guy that I've heard. You just
there's nothing negative.
He doesn't live in a fancy, just a regular apartment.
Yeah.
He just, and the guy's got money to burn.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, he is probably one of the biggest stars, top 10 on the planet. You know.
And I seriously dare anybody to come up with a story negative about him.
Yeah,
I've never seen anything negative about the guy.
And that's tough to do, man, when you're his size.
Exactly.
That's tough to do, man. Yeah. So, the person I would meet right now, here's a world-class asshole, but he was my idol growing up, is Michael Jordan. I'd love to meet Jordan, but I just hear horrible things, so I really don't want to ever meet him.
It's weird, like, because I know some people that are talked about in the paparazzi and stuff. Yeah. You have to know the whole story.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be, do you guys remember Warrant, the band Warrant?
Of course.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Janie Lane was a really good friend of mine for years.
Oh, wow.
And I met him at Westminster Mall when their very first album came out. They were signing autographs, and then we went to Bangles and partied with him at Bangles, and we just became friends. But like he said, he's like, when you're in the public eye, he goes, your parents could have just died, your dog got hit by a car, your sister has cancer, and they told you, you know, you're impotent.
Yeah.
And you got to go on stage and be what they expect.
Yeah.
Right. You can never have a bad day as a celebrity.
Because they don't care.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and so I've heard the same thing about Jordan, but I have to wonder when that happens, like how much of that is they caught him on a bad day.
Yeah,
or,
that's true.
you know.
But I was a massive Jordan fan. You know, when people come to the house and I had to give up my bed to a family member, they're like, you're going to go sleep in the Jordan shrine.
Yeah.
Is what you're going to see.
23, baby.
Yeah.
Has he ever sold his house? I don't
Yes.
think he did sell it.
The one in Chicago with the old hardwood floor from the United Center.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know if he has or not.
Yeah, with the big 23 on the gate.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I mean,
That's been for sale for like 10, 12 years. Easy.
who's got that money, bro? You know, if I won the lottery, I'd probably buy Jordan's house. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
That's the ultimate shrine.
yeah. Why not, man? So,
Have him autograph the front door.
yeah.
You know?
Who would you meet, Adam?
Oh, I don't know. I'd kind of like to meet Shaq.
That'd be kinda-
Oh, I would
I've heard
love
that-
to meet Shaq.
Because kind of like Keanu, I've heard a ton of good stuff about Shaq.
Yeah.
Right.
Just like one of the things that I heard was he was going to an interview or something, and he was kind of running late, and there was a guy in front of him, and this just beat down old clunker like Suburban or something, and it was like smoking and broke down right in front of him, and he got out. You know, like I said, he's running late to an interview or a business meeting or something, and he goes up there and he tells the guy, he's like, "Get in, I'm gonna go buy you a new car."
We did. Yeah. I've heard that same story. I mean,
Yeah.
guys like that are, you know,
He does that all the time.
yeah.
I heard a story. He was in a jewelry store, and a guy was getting married for the first time and was trying to find a ring. And Shaq walked up. He goes, "Don't worry about it." He goes, "Pick out any ring, whatever ring you want for your bride." And he bought their engagement rings.
That's cool.
You know. And then of course, I'm sure you've seen the video on YouTube where he sees that kid in Walmart. He's like, "You got a bike?"
Yes, I have seen
And
it.
the
yes.
kid's like, "No." And he goes, "Ask your mom if I can buy you a bike." You know. And I just saw an interview with him, and he said he is so blessed, as he puts it. He goes, "I try and pay it forward every day." He goes, "I try and do something nice for somebody every single day."
You know, that's cool that they're generous, but also the celebrities I really like are the mischievous ones that have fun with people, like Bill Murray.
Oh, yeah.
The stories about
Yeah.
Bill Murray. I mean,
Yeah.
like where he's walking through the restaurant, he reaches over to some chick's plate, takes food off, eats it, then tells her, "Nobody will believe you."
Yeah.
Or these guys were night how drunk. One had passed out, so Bill Murray happened to go in there. I guess took a picture of the guy all passed out. So then they woke up. They're like, "Dude, last night we met Bill. Yeah, you met him too. There you are, drooling on him. You know, I think those are great stories.
So I've heard
man.
stuff like that about Tom Hanks too.
Yeah.
Just messing with people and doing selfies and
Yeah.
crashing weddings and
John Cena's huge about it.
Oh, yeah.
With kids, especially with kids. You know what I mean? He'll surprise them, and yeah,
Well, you can tell he's got a good sense of humor about
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I like
You know?
him.
Yeah.
I like him. He's there's some of those guys that are, you can tell they're funny. You know what I mean? Well, Thor. You know, Chris Hemsworth. The Thor from the comic book, I was a big nerd growing up. That's not the Thor from the comic book. The Thor from the comic book is very much he's a ruler. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think Chris Hemsworth had great comic timing. And when Marvel discovered that, they're like, "Oh, well, you're just going to be funny from now on."
Right.
The funny god of thunder.
Yep.
You know, which has gotten a little old, but I mean, he is pretty funny. He's got
Yeah.
great timing. So
I'd
Absolutely.
like to meet The Rock too.
yeah, I've heard.
I've heard good stuff about him too. So there was I follow him on Instagram, and one of the things he always does is he'll get his phone out when he's driving and pulling up to a stop sign, and he'll start videoing himself, and there'll be a tour bus, like the See the Stars tour bus,
Yeah.
and he'll be like, "Hey, do you guys know where The Rock lives?" And they just lose their shit.
Yeah.
And then he'll wave and take pictures and whatever, and then drive off.
See,
I
that's
mean,
cool.
Is that a curse to be that famous though?
I think it's how you handle it.
Yeah.
You know, you look at Michael Jackson,
Yeah.
and he kept himself hidden away, so when people
Yeah.
saw him, they went absolutely apeshit.
Yeah.
Then you see people like Taylor Swift, who I'm not a fan of her music, but as a human being, she's amazing
Yeah, I agree.
at what she does.
Right.
But she's out with her fans. People
Yeah.
see her and they'll take pictures, and I think it's how accessible you are.
Yeah.
You kind of have to embrace it.
Absolutely, because I'm dating myself, but when Van Halen, when David Lee Roth and they came out, David Lee Roth said, being famous, he said, if you buy the land, you get the Indians.
Yeah.
It comes with it. You can't just be famous and want to be left alone.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Right.
and the way I look at it, for sports people, anybody like that's in the public eye, when someone asks you for a picture, they're the ones paying your salary.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
They're the ones
you're
buying
not
your car.
where you're at.
Right. Exactly.
You didn't get there by yourself.
Right. They help buy your house. They help buy your Ferrari. They help whatever. And it's like you would not have a career. You know, if you're not a sports person, if you're a celebrity like entertainment, you would not have a career if it wasn't for people like that.
Absolutely.
When you go to sporting events and they start heckling some of these players and they get upset, look, man, everybody here paid a lot of money for these tickets. Yep. You know what I mean? So you're going to hear their opinion. You know, so
James is the worst.
Yeah. Oh, LeBron James is dog shit.
I can't stand that guy.
No, he has people thrown out because they're heckling him. It's come on, dude, get some thicker skin.
Yeah, dude, you're 6'10".
Right.
Of muscle, bro.
Right.
Are you really is the little white girl offending you? Is that what's happening right now? King James, dude.
Right. Oh, when he did that in Miami, remember that?
No.
They had a press conference after he won, one of the championships, and they were asking him questions, and he told the press, you can find this on YouTube. He's like, I won't answer any questions unless you address me as King James.
Ah, bullshit.
Yeah, that's what he said.
No, I'm sure it happened, but I think it's bullshit.
Oh, absolutely, dude. It's like it could be gone that quick.
Oh, yeah.
A car accident, a stroke, whatever. It could be gone that fast.
Look at his son trying to get in the NBA now. I mean, come on. Let's not go down that road. I can't stand him. I'm a Jordan guy, so I mean, I naturally hate him.
Funny Bill Murray story. You ever heard the story about when he goes to the neighborhood bar and jumps behind the bar to serve?
No.
Mm-mm.
No matter what anybody orders, he pours them a shot of tequila. So he'll be like, what can I get you? And they'll be like, oh, a martini. All right, there's one tequila. What can I get you? And they'll be like a Bud Light. And then, all right, there's a tequila. And he just goes all the way down the line. That's all he serves is tequila.
Nice.
Oh, that's hilarious. You know?
I read a book, Live from New York. Have you ever read it?
No.
It's the history of Saturday Night Live as to the eyes of the cast members.
Oh, wow. And
it talks about a bar that Belushi, Aykroyd, I think Bill Murray was in on it, bought in New York next to the studio somewhere, this old dive bar where the staff would go or the cast would go Saturday night after the show. They'd go party at this bar. Could you imagine going back in time and walking into that bar to a Belushi, an Aykroyd, you know what I mean?
Murphy.
Steve Martin.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
This is the most famous group of people you'll ever be around. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's
and at that point in time, they were probably just starting out.
Yeah.
And they had no idea what was going to happen.
Yeah, drinking and oh my God, making horrible decisions. I'm sure.
Gilda Radner.
You
know, all those people. I mean, when you start naming all the stars that came out of early Saturday Night Live, it's unbelievable.
Dude, it's been the biggest starter for anybody, dude. Yeah. I mean, most of your major comedy movie stars are from Saturday Night Live. Yeah,
I don't think it's been as funny anymore.
They're getting better. They're getting back on getting back on it. Yeah, I've seen some pretty good ones. You ever seen the Corksuckers?
No.
Well, they're winery, and we'll be the corksuckers, and they suck the corks out. And it's this tour bus, and they're like, "How do you get to be a corksucker? And, are all corks the same?" Well, no, there's some bigger corks to suck, and there's a little corks to suck. And dude, look up corksuckers for Saturday Night Live. It's fantastic, dude.
I'm glad they're going that way because I think they got a little too careful with their humor, because before in the early days it was like, wow, you got away with that, like you know.
That's what they were known for. They were cutting edge, you know.
And I think Lorne Michaels kind of, with the whole shift of cancel culture, everything kind of pulled back, and I think that's a wrong move personally.
I mean, it was a running joke that Saturday Night Live, the way they voted on a president was who on the cast could do the presidents the best. Like if they had someone that could do, like a Reagan better, we need Reagan to win because we got a guy that can nail Reagan, you know, like do it to a T. But we're going to get going here in a minute. But I do want to talk about comedy a little bit.
Sure.
There is one thing you said that I want to kind of talk about, Dave Chappelle and the transgender, the whole debacle.
Yeah.
The reason I respect what he did was he got in some trouble, not trouble, but a little blowback. What did he do? He doubled down on it.
Absolutely.
And I respect it. And it wasn't hate for them at all. You know, and people just did you know what I'm talking about? Adam?
No, I hadn't heard anything about it.
They got after him because he talks about a transgender comic that he became friends with.
Right.
Yeah, they brought him up, and he was making fun of them. But he was making fun of the person,
right? Not
the transgender, the personality. And people gave him shit about it. Well, he came back and he did another special, and he went even worse on it, And he basically said, "I'm rich, so fuck you. Right. If you don't like it, I'll go sit in my mansion. I don't care." whatever you want to do. You know, that's when you brought that up. That's one thing I do respect. You know, you got to have respect and love for people.
Absolutely.
But I mean, sometimes we're getting to a point where it's just like, let it go, man.
Right.
You know. So
one of the stories he told is he said he was in a nightclub and this trans person, like, he said, I don't know if they overdosed or whatever, but they hit the floor and they were convulsing. And he said, I went over there and I'm like, is he okay? And all their gay friends were like, it's a she. And I said, okay, fine. Well, her dick just popped out of her underwear. So, you know, if we're really going to play these semantics, let's talk about this, you know?
Yeah.
And I do, like, my shirt, I'm a vegetarian.
Right.
I talk about trans people, and I say that I'm on the internet dating, and I'm like, I realize I by no stretch of the imagination am a piece of ass, right? So I started to eat healthier. I became a vegetarian, you know, but I won't go down on a trans woman because that's processed meat. So I won't do that. You know, that's not good for you. Too much salt.
Too salty. Yeah. What's your favorite thing about comedy, man? What's the? Is the happiest I am on in the course of a day is on stage. Yeah.
And I like pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you guys heard 2 years ago, I got attacked on stage in New York City and they dislocated my shoulder and stuff like that. It was right after the whole Oscars thing.
Okay.
And I did a radio show after that in New York, and they're like, are you going to tone down your material now? I said, fuck no. I said, I'm ratcheting it up.
Yeah.
You know, I said, I'm tired. It's comedy. You know, if you can't laugh at yourself as well as other people, don't come to the show.
Yeah.
You know, that's just all there is to it, because I make fun of myself all the time.
Right.
You know, and I'll tell you what, even like sitting here, not doing a show, but I mean this show, but making fun of yourself, it makes life so much less stressful.
I agree.
Yeah.
So much less. You're like, fuck, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, or if somebody makes fun of you, instead of getting defensive, you're just like, yeah, I did that. I'm stupid.
Dude,
you know?
I own stuff even if it's not true. Because it stops if someone starts talking shit to you, I just start owning it. Yeah, that is me. You know, yes, I do like processed meat. Fantastic. Oh my God, protein! Protein was super expensive, but you can get it free, you know, from friendly people. You know, but
do you guys know who Rich Voss is?
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I was at the Rio at the Comedy Cellar with him, and watching him work. His entire set was just talking shit to the crowd.
Yeah.
I could not believe it.
Yeah.
And he just sat there, and there was a black girl off to the side, and she had those really fancy beads with the braids and stuff, you know. And there was a lull.
I've seen this.
He did that?
Yeah.
I guess he does it all the time.
With your ashy ass?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
He goes, how much it cost to get that done? And she was like $600 or whatever it cost. He's like, really? Can you wash them? You know, he's just asking all these questions. And then he looks and he goes, notice how upset and uptight the white audience gets when you start talking to a black girl about her braids.
Dude. Oh, sorry.
No. I was like, and then at the end of the show, you know, he did some other stuff and they didn't laugh at something. And he looked back at that black girl. He goes, white people. Am I right? I was like, that's awesome, dude.
I saw the clip when someone yelled racist at him, called him a racist on stage. And he went off.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know what? It was a whole black audience. And about 2 minutes into this rant, they were all on his side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a very gifted. Another New York comic that I love is Nick DiPaolo.
Oh, yeah.
Massive Nick DiPaolo fan. Are you familiar?
I am.
This guy, I don't know how he's still on the air because he's fantastic, you know. But his the Raw Nerve album is one of my favorite albums of all time, you know. But yeah, for me, I don't like overly vulgar comedy. I like clever comedy.
Right.
You know? My favorite jokes are the ones that make me giggle, Gio, but they're the ones that make me go, shit, that was clever.
Yeah.
Why didn't I think of that?
Think about it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. How many times after a show I came to you like that joke they told? That was amazing. You know, and I'll always tell a comic, and I feel this is the biggest compliment I can give a comic is that was an awesome written joke. That was a very well written joke. That was amazing, you know, because I've heard so many comics tell jokes that, I mean, it's a great joke, but it's the way they've worded it and written it that makes it just pop, you know, just makes it power through your fist or through your face, you know? So that's my favorite is the clever comedy.
And one of my favorite comedians that did it that way, and I had the opportunity to meet him when I was on Last Comic Standing in New York was
you were on that.
Yeah.
I forgot.
2010.
Right. Yeah.
Greg Giraldo.
He was the king, dude.
Genius.
Yeah. Yes.
Genius. The way he crafted his stuff was like amazing.
The roasts. He's the king of that. They give Jeff
Ross.
General Jeff. Yeah, they give him the credit for being the best. No, man. Giraldo was the king, dude.
Absolutely.
Some of the shit he said.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Like, it's a joke and everybody's supposed to laugh, but some people got all.
He didn't care. Yeah, exactly.
I was crying, but
he didn't give a shit.
He was amazing.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a roast.
Yes.
What do you guys remember, or do you know Alex Ash?
Yeah. We have a great joke about Alex Ash, but go ahead.
Okay.
We have a great story about that.
Well, I barely knew him when I started doing well in the comedy scene, and we were at what was the name of it? That doesn't matter. But we were at this little restaurant they used to have comedy at. TJ Miller was there that night too.
Right.
And he asked me and TJ to roast him because it was his birthday. I'm like, dude, I hardly know you. And he's like, no, it'll be great. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I only knew a few things about him. I knew that he had killed that homeless person, hit him with a car.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. But I knew he had gotten over it because he knew it wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
And so I roast him for like 10 minutes. And at the end, I'm like, actually, I'm kidding. I go, Alex is an amazing person. He's a great humanitarian. What is that word?
Humanitarian.
Humanitarian. Thank you.
Yeah.
I said, as a matter of fact, a lot of people don't know that he works diligently to end homelessness. The problem is he's only doing it one bum at a time.
That's horrible.
And Matt Baca was in the back, and all of a sudden you hear, oh, like Matt Baca was like, holy shit, he went there. Like, oh my God, it was great.
You asked to be roasted, man.
That's what I told him. I was like, you're not mad. And he goes, no. I'm like, dude, you asked for it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, that's great. That's
It's
great.
like, if you're going to ask me to roast, let's be prepared.
If you want to dance, we're going to dance the whole dance.
Exactly.
I've always felt very blessed to be part of. I'm not a comedian. I booked the shows, and I've done some comedy, but people are like, Larry's a comedian. Larry's not a comedian, Yeah. And I always tell them, Ron Ferguson, who we talked about earlier, is the one who pointed the difference out to me. Because, when comics do comedy for the first time, then their Facebook page becomes
comedian.
Comedian Bob Jackson, whatever, And I guess Ron will ask him, does your W-2 say comedian on it?
Right.
Do your taxes say comedian on it?
Right.
No. So you're not a comedian, you know. There's the difference.
You're an open micer.
Right. But I've always felt very blessed to be within the radius of comics, you know, and part of that Denver comedy scene, because it's Colorado's got a badass comedy scene. There's a lot of talented men and women walking around this state, So we're very blessed to.
And you're absolutely right about that, know. And I've seen so many people that have done a couple of, and then when they do the open mic at Comedy Works, they're like, "Oh, I killed it! I destroyed it!" I'm like, "Dude, how can you not?"
Yeah, it's
a comedy club, and that's what they want.
Yes.
Go to 404 or go to
Lions Lair.
Lions Lair.
Yeah.
Go do your comedy there and see how well they receive you.
First time I ever did comedy was at 404.
Was it really?
Yeah. And I actually did. I think I did decent.
Yeah.
For a first time.
Yeah. That was a good room.
Yeah.
Yeah. We enjoyed it.
But Lions Lair. Fuck, do you remember? I can't remember his name. The comedian that got punched at Lions Lair.
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, he was talking shit about Asians, and there was a Marine there, and he had an Asian girlfriend.
Oh, no.
And so the guy said something like, what are you going to do, come up here and kick my ass? And the fucking Marine walked up to the stage, boom, and laid him out on. Dick Black was there, I think, and a bunch of other people. And it was like, holy shit.
There was another one after Tuesday night at Comedy Works, open mic night. It was a real rough one. Like Sam Talent, those guys used to frequent it all the time. Where was it on Colfax?
Oh, it was Lions Lair, and then it was...
you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, too.
The Squire.
The Squire.
The Squire.
Yeah.
That was... Those two, if you could get just one laugh, you were doing okay.
I went once with Steve Young. He's all, you never been there? I go, no. So we left my car in downtown Denver, and we got in his car and went over there. And I was like, I was at the bar with my beer laughing, like, this is horrible. This is honest to God awful. Like, this is straight up dangerous. You know what I mean? So,
and this, I'll get off stage if I have a bad show, and Ron will say the same thing. I'll get off stage, I'm like, fuck this. I'm never doing this again. Fuck comedy.
Yeah.
Fuck this. And then the next night I'll have a great show. I was like, God, I love doing comedy. You know?
I'm never doing this again till the next time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that is when someone comes up to you afterwards, like I did a joke during the BP oil spill where I dropped the N-bomb, you know?
Yeah.
And the only people ever heckled me was white people, you know? And I told Dick Black and I can't remember who else I told about it, but they're like, that's a good fucking joke, but they're like, you better have some serious shit coming after that's just as funny, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like it's up to each individual comedian, I say, to be yourself.
Yeah.
Don't try and work the room. This was told to me by Artie Lang. We were at Caroline's, which I missed. That was a great room.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, what do you want out of comedy? And I'm like, well, I could blow smoke up your ass and say, I just want, to be famous and people to laugh. I said, but I want to be fucking rich.
Yeah.
I want to do movies. He's like, that's what you got to do, movies and TV. And he said, don't go looking for your audience. He said, just be yourself and your audience will find you.
Yeah.
And it's so true. Like, how many people, you mention a comedian and some people say, oh, they suck.
Yeah.
Really? Well, they sold out Red Rocks 3 nights in a row. So how bad do they suck? It's just like, it's subjective, like music. Some people can think Metallica is the greatest band in the world. Other people could not like Metallica.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they're not talented.
Right.
And this may be not a popular opinion here, but the guy who gets so much hate right now is that Matt Rife.
Oh, God.
You don't like him.
I don't think he's funny.
I mean, he doesn't have to be funny. The guy works.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people when they start talking shit about him. I'm like,
everything he has, he earned.
yeah, he
I will
works his
say
ass
that.
off. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's why people really do hate him, too. A lot of people do.
Well, and then when he posed like shirtless on his CD cover,
Yeah.
everybody's like, oh, it's like, you know what? If I look like that, I'd fucking pose topless on my CD
you and me
cover. But
both,
nobody
man.
wants to see this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, if they had penis enlargement surgery and I got to do it,
Right.
and like 9 inches, I would no longer own any pants.
Right.
I don't pants for
I
when
would
it's
be
cold.
swinging.
You know what I'm saying? That's it, dude. In summer, they're like, there goes Larry. Thop, 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 thop. That's how I get down, bro. If you got to flaunt it, right? That's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's what works for you, then another guy that did that with his looks is Dane Cook.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a comedian personally, but he tells really clever stories.
Yeah.
And he tells humorous stories. But I don't consider him a comedian, but he's a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
And that helped get him to where he's at. Women have been doing it since the beginning of time.
Yeah. Well, he also, MySpace and Facebook, he was one of the first comics to ever really grab social media and run with it,
Yeah.
But he worked his ass off. I'm not a Dane Cook fan either. I watch his comedy, I'm like, there's some okay
It's
in there.
a clever story.
Yeah, there's some clever stuff in there. But I'm not a fan, but I'll always respect a guy who works, And most comics, there's very few that... Let me take the other side. I've seen some of the funniest sons of bitches on stage even come through our rooms. But I can tell you some of them are lazy. You know what I mean? You can tell they don't work for it. They like doing the comedy, they don't go out and promote like they should. I mean, if you're talented and you have a good work ethic, how do you fail at that?
Right.
And
there's a comedian in town that Matt Baca and I have had conversations about, and he's just naturally just funny as shit.
Yeah.
Naturally. And he made the statement with me and Matt and a couple other people. He goes, I don't know what's so hard about comedy. This shit's easy. And Matt looked at me afterwards after he went away. Matt goes, I wanted to punch him right in the fucking throat.
Yeah.
He's like, this is hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like it came natural to him, kind of like a Dave Chappelle,
Right.
It just came natural to him. But he doesn't work at it. He could be huge if he just worked at it.
Yeah. The work ethic. And I've seen comics that have started off rough, like, open mic and stuff, and
Right.
you're like, this guy ain't going to do it. And a couple years later, they came to feature for us or whatever. And the one
we looked at each other like, holy fuck, man.
Yeah.
Where'd this guy come
There was
from?
one, I won't say his name, but I insulted him by accident. I said, man, you've gotten amazing. He's like, I was amazing to begin with. I'm like, you're amazing now. Let's focus on
That's all that counts.
yeah. But he'd gotten so good. But this dude worked his ass off. I mean, like, open mic nights 5 days a week.
And that's what it's for.
Yeah.
When I was at Caroline's, before they closed, how at any open mic, they make the comics sit in the back,
Right.
no matter who you are.
Right.
And we're sitting in the back with barely any light working on our stuff. It's
Yeah.
an open mic to work things out. And this guy is like, hey, man, is that seat taken? I'm like, no, go ahead. I didn't pay any attention.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm going to try some new stuff. And he gets up, and I look, and it's, what's his name that got canceled for jacking off?
Louis C.K.
Louis C.K. That's who was sitting next to me. And then he goes, yeah, I'm going to try some new stuff. And I was like, all right. And then I looked up, and I was like, holy shit, that's,
Yeah.
But that's how these comics that I've met, that I've been fortunate enough to work with,
Right.
they say that's how we do it.
Yeah.
You go to the Comedy Store in L.A.,
Right.
you don't know who's going to drop in.
That's what I've heard.
The biggest names, you'll have all these locals, and then all of a sudden, oh, Dave Chappelle's here, or Dave Attell's here.
Yeah.
And they just come in and they do 10 minutes to, like, you have to.
Yeah.
comedy to me, I tell people it's like when you work out. If you don't work your talent, you get atrophy.
Yeah.
You're not as sharp and you're not as quick-witted and
Right.
you're not as ready to go.
Right. Yeah, you can tell. Well, we're past our time.
Oh,
So,
okay.
no. Gio, this has been an amazing conversation. I've really enjoyed you coming down, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. I
Yeah,
appreciate
Thanks for coming.
it's fun to have. Well, comics are all natural storytellers, right? I mean, it just naturally comes to comics.
It's our
You know?
job,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the bullshitters, bro. But no, thank you so much for coming
Absolutely.
on.
Thank you so much.
I'm Moose Lundstrom.
I'm Adam Vokey.
Hey, till next time. Peace.